Would you take Neymar as he is now? Some people in your position say, if he plays more, I'd take him. They always add conditions. Would you take Neymar right now?
You have to take the Neymar we all know because he carries weight, right? He matters. So, whether he's a starter or not, for me it should be based on merit. But having him there carries weight. For Thiago Silva to go, it carries weight. Because when a guy looks to the side, man, there's Neymar.
Would you select Thiago Silva for Brazil's national team?
I definitely would. Really? Absolutely, especially with all these doubts going on. Honestly, I would call up Thiago Silva, I would call up Neymar.
Would you call up Neymar?
I would call up Neymar.
Get to Neymar.
I would call him up because he's still the guy who, even though, of course, I think even Neymar knows he's not in his best moment, and we can't really demand from Neymar what he was at Barcelona.
Being 24 isn't the same as being in your early 20s.
Exactly, he knows it. And at the same time, I also wanted to see Neymar maybe at Flamengo. I wanted to see Neymar maybe on a team that gives him a little more, with a bit more quality. He has a coach who's exceptional, who's Cuca, but Santos isn't in good form right now. So you can't expect Neymar to be at his best if the team isn't doing well. We were saying the same thing about Flamengo with Felipe Luis not too long ago. They weren't doing well either. Are you going to say Arrascaeta is a bad player? Of course not. You can't say that.
If he were at Flamengo, do you think we'd still be stuck with this will he or won't he doubt? That doubt wouldn't exist. If he were playing alongside Arrascaeta, come on.
His game would really show.
He always says that wherever he is, he'll always be the main player. But here he would also have several around him.
Even share that pressure.
Even share that pressure with him, and he'd join a ready team. If he goes to Palmeiras, if he goes to, of course, Palmeiras has a rivalry with Santos, but what I'm saying is, if he goes to a ready team, it's the same thing we're talking about with Gerson today. Gerson didn't join a settled Cruzeiro team. He joined a Cruzeiro side in transition. In transition, Diniz didn't join a settled Cruzeiro team either. He joined a Cruzeiro, and it's the same thing with Neymar. If Neymar joined a ready team today, I'm sure he would be performing much better than he is now. And we wouldn't be unsure about taking Neymar.
Now with his arrival at Santos and his wealth, if I were Neymar, I'd personally hire Guglielmo.
Hire, exactly.
Come on, so-and-so, come. Damn, it's about bringing the guys with...
But I still think...
Man, there are some guys...
who even play soccer. They're even playing one of the worst.
But I still think he is, especially since he's been dealing with a lot of injuries, right? He just had one recently.
But that's what I was going to ask about the injury. Neymar isn't at 100% in terms of getting a run of games, right? He's getting better. He overcame the injuries he had this season. Would you take Neymar right now, or would you, because some people sat in your chair and said, well, if he gets a good run, I'd take him. I'd take Neymar if he was fit. Would you take Neymar now?
Neymar, as usual, you have to take him. He's influential, right? Starter, he matters. Whether he's a starter or not, it should depend on merit. But for him to go, it carries weight. For Thiago Silva to go, it carries weight. Because when a guy looks to the side, man, there's Neymar.
Or the fun, but it makes a difference.
It makes a difference.
When you hang out with guys flattering them like that.
Do you know why it makes a difference? For example, I'm going to say something that might not have anything to do with it, but I think you'll understand. 2006, our final against Vasco. That was my first final. Well, of course, there was the one against Paulista, but that was my first really big final because Paulista and Fluminense is completely different from Flamengo and Vasco. I'm not disrespecting any other team, but we know it's a classic matchup. It's a classic. And then when I got on the field, I was already focused. Man, in my first final with Flamengo, I suddenly heard something beside me. I looked over and saw Renato Augusto crying. I asked, what's wrong? I got goosebumps all over. And then it started hitting me. Damn, it's the final Flamengo versus Vasco. You know when I started to feel a bit more relaxed? It was when I saw Edilson Capetinha, who'd won the World Cup with Brazil in 2002. I said, if that guy over there is looking away and carrying that weight, he is. Hold on.
Hold on, let's back up. You saw Edilson Capetinha.
With Vasco.
Vasco, playing for Vasco.
A guy from Brazil's 5th world title winning team.
That's right, looking.
The Maracanã was full of fans from both teams.
And he was amazed like that. That's what I say. If you ask Yamal, if you ask a bunch of players, everyone will say Neymar has to be at the World Cup, that their idol is Neymar. Then you get a Brazil versus France or Brazil versus Spain, and on the other side, everyone's asking Neymar for a photo afterward. That matters for the national team. It matters to both Ancelotti and the players.
But like on the field, when you look and see those tough guys there, like your title-winning team back in 2009, when the opponent came to play against a team that didn't have a big star, the guy would look and see Pet, see Adriano.
Exactly.
That makes a difference.
We were going to play against São Paulo. They had Rogério Sene, they had Luisa, they had I don't know what else. We looked and thought, damn, look at those guys. This game is going to be awesome. And so on. Then when I looked to the other side, that matters. That really matters, man. It was just like the interview Zico gave. How could Flamengo not be champions in their time, and sport would be? He said, man, just look at the team. Exactly.
You don't remember any of them, exactly.
That's what I'm telling you.
Then we look to the other side and see Mbappe. Then when he comes and looks over here, I think the cameraman even gets worried. Who is the guy I'm going to look for?
But I think this situation could be controversial, but I also think it has a lot to do with our culture. This thing about, oh, renewal, you have to renew quickly. Oh, renewal. But if you look at the French team, they still have Kanté. And is Kanté really playing well right now?
Playing soccer.
But he has a name and already left for the club.
No.
He's no longer playing for the national team. You see Griezmann and others still there, even if they're not doing well. Pepe played until the end in Portugal. Cristiano Ronaldo is still around, but to me, he's not truly living it. He's just there. Those guys have that kind of stature in their country where if someone says, I don't want it anymore, that's it. They don't read.
It's more the player's decision of I don't want it anymore than the national team closing the doors.
Exactly.
They usually decide when to stop, but I don't think that happens often in Brazil.
That doesn't exist. Thiago Silva was playing at a high level in Brazilian soccer last year. Now he went to Porto to play in Europe, I don't know, in the Champions League or the Europa League. He's playing at a high level. How can you not take the guy? Just because he's 41 years old, it's a short-term thing.
And there's another thing, if he's called up, he gets into the World Cup routine, man, that's almost 50 days. Stuck in there, man. If he's going to join, he'll join there. Because it's a training camp, he'll play a friendly, get ready, there will be a preseason, he'll spend some time training before debuting, and there are still 8 games left. This World Cup will last 40 days.
That's it. Like Toró said, man, maximum respect, for example. I'll give you an example. Ibanez, who's a great defender. But man, when you compare Ibanez and Thiago Silva, who does the opponent know better, man? Thiago Silva. And Ibanez is a great defender.
Defender?
Just to make it clear. She might actually start for the national team now, playing right back. That's what people are saying since Militão, who was supposed to play there, got injured.
There are 26 as well, right?
You're going to say 26, for example, just like now. We have a recent example like Danilo. Danilo is from Flamengo and is definitely going to the World Cup, that's already decided. But he's not a starter for Flamengo or the Brazilian national team. So why is he more certain to go than anyone else? It's because of his ability. It's because the guy stands out.
Because of the trust.
Because of the trust. I respect that. Exactly. Because of the guy's leadership and everything, you know? And we know what Neymar is capable of doing. There's a free kick. Neymar can take a free kick. He can score a goal. We always say that. How long has it been since Brazil scored from a free kick? We always say that. Who do we have today? Because Neymar, even though he's not that same Neymar, you still see some plays from him. Of course. At Santos it was great. But the guy doesn't finish the play.
So it seems like he's 2 steps ahead of choosing.
Exactly. Exactly. For example, Rascaeta gets the ball, makes a move, passes, and Pedro scores. Tomorrow, it'll be all about Arrascaeta. Neymar does a lot, but in the end, did nothing. Because sometimes Neymar, for example, Romario would go 89 minutes doing nothing in a game, just as an example.
1 minute.
In 1 minute, he would score the goal. The same goes for Neymar the next day, man. Neymar sometimes at Santos, he doesn't do much. But when he does what's essential to win a game, 1-0, 2-1, and so on, and the guys don't score the goal, so how are you going to do that?
In this Santos team, he's often coming back to get the ball and create chances. At Flamengo, he'd just be another player. Exactly. But now he's expected to make things happen, which is a big burden for him.
Arrascaeta shined when playing near the goal. The same goes for Felipe Coutinho at Vasco. He was positioned further back then, but players like them are most decisive up front.
He was so stressed he called it quits and left.
Exactly.